Hi all, this is Jan of the Jan Files, and this should be a really short video. Famous last words. Anyway, I'm going to go over just a couple things that either I missed or I said that were in the House bill that are now not in the Senate bill. So one of the things about SNAP is that in the Senate bill, they upped the federal poverty level that you can go to. It's now 168% versus 138% and be eligible for SNAP. Now, that's good news for some people. Other people, it's not going to make a difference to. And the reason is it's about the ultimate eligibility is about your net income. So you have your salary, you have your standard deductions, then you deduct your utilities and you deduct your rent, etc. And if that level, if after that you come to a number that is above the 100% federal poverty level, you are now not eligible for SNAP. So it's a little confusing, but that is what is in the final bill. The other thing that I didn't talk about before is what happened to forestry. And I think this is really important because, there was in the Inflation Reduction Act, there was $5 billion allocated to all kinds of programs for forestry, including wildfire risk reduction, reforestation, climate resilient reforestation, planting trees in urban places, etc. And there were far more intense and very detailed programs. Well, what they did was they rescinded all of that money that hasn't been spent or committed to be spent at this point. And what that has left was they've taken away $1 billion, okay? And they've rescinded $1 billion in funding for these programs. So even though what are they for? To make it safer for Americans to live where they live, right? That's really what this is about. Too many Americans are being impacted by fires. And even now on the East Coast, where I live, where we never really had to think about those things. So this is what they decided to do, to just wipe all that funding out so that, there is no protection for the forests. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, just two other quick points. NASA's funding has gone up to $40 billion. They added another $10 billion for trips to the moon and Mars. So that's $40 billion. And also they took back a lot of the regulations for car manufacturers to meet efficiency standards. And so they want you to rely more on, oil consumption, which means obviously more emissions. And so that's a big deal in terms of a big give back to the auto industry. It will impact prices because they're not going to have to, do the right thing and make our vehicles more efficient. So those are some little tidbits that I wanted to let you know. But the biggest tidbit here is about FAFSA, because the House version of this bill that impacted kids and parents who want to help pay for their kids' higher education. And the House bill was like somebody dropped some acid. Okay, it's still, when I think about it. So what it was, they eliminated Parent Plus loans, Graduate Plus loans, instead of going, funding things based on the actual cost of the college. They were going to average the cost of the colleges, and that would be the number you would have to use. So if the actual cost that you were going to have to pay, or you and your kid would have to pay, was $50,000, they'd say, what we're going to do is base all these Pell Grants and your eligibility for this on this median number. And so that would leave you in a big hole, right? If you were having to pay 50, but what they said that they were going to allocate was 30, and everything was going to be based off that was not a good thing. The other thing that wasn't a good thing, they actually were going to look at what possible degree you could get and see when you left college how much you were going to earn for 3 years. And they would compare that to a high school graduate and what they were going to earn in 3 years. I can't even begin to think how this could make sense. But that's what was written. And what one could get from that is they don't want to fund more of the arts, more of the whether you're going to be a fine artist or a musician, etc. That they were going to say, okay, no, those things, you're not going to make a lot of money doing those things, so we're not going to help you go to school for those things. Whatever was the reason, what I think you should know is that this actually existed and that the House Republicans voted for it, okay? That is as important as what's in the final bill, because you need to understand people's motivations. So now, what is in the current bill? They have eliminated Graduate Plus loans. They have capped the amount of a loan a parent can get in a Parent Plus loan, which is somewhere, I'm not sure because it seems to be floating, between $12,000 and $15,000. That would be what the parent could get in a Parent Plus loan. It's going to be capped, okay? So those are the two big changes now to FAFSA. So it's a lot better than what it was. I actually was panicking. I'm sure I made some other people panic, but that was what's in the House bill. And I'm still glad I covered that, because we need to understand exactly what their intent is at every level, including how it impacts, and most importantly, how it impacts our kids. Next one is going to be on NOAA. So stay tuned. That'll open some eyes. Thanks. Bye.